So it seems like we have lost yet another iconic, legendary symbol of true warrior in 2018. Winnie Mandela, at the age of 81, has transitioned and she is gone to live amongst the ancestors. I remember as a kid, I used to always hear her name a lot, but I never knew who she was. But, of course, I was more familiar with Nelson Mandela, but I didn't really know how they were related. I was like, are they brother and sister? Are they cousins? But I was like, it was no, they were husband and wife. And so, as I got older, I wanted to, do a little bit more research on her because her husband or her ex-husband was always put out more in the forefront. So I pretty much knew a lot about him, but not much about her. Because back when she was fighting and everything of that nature, she was in the spotlight, but then over the years, she just kind of reverted back. And then her ex-husband kind of came back into the fold after being released from prison after serving all those years. And when he went to jail, she pretty much picked up the mantle where he left off and continued the fight. But she went even further than he did because she continued the fight even after he got out of jail. It's like when he got out of jail, it's like he completely turned over a new leaf. That's why some black people really don't really gravitate towards Nelson Mandela like they used to before he went to jail. Because before he went to jail, he was really on a radical tip. But she went to jail and she came out of jail and was still very radical. I remember seeing the movie starring Idris Elba, and he played Nelson Mandela and Naomi Harris played Winnie Mandela. I always thought that she should have got some kind of an award for that part because she played that part. And, in the movie, she was portrayed, in the early stages as this mild, meek type woman. But it wasn't until her husband went to jail, and then when she went to jail, and she literally got taken out of her home in the middle of the night and thrown in a wagon, and her kids were just left there. So it was like no one was there to really take care of them. And it was a scene in the movie. I think it's called Long Walk to Freedom. I believe that's the name of the movie. That scene where she's in jail and she's like literally banging on the bars asking for her children. That scene was so powerful. If y'all ever get a chance to watch that movie, it's called Long Walk to Freedom with Idris Elba and Naomi Harris. Make sure y'all go and watch it. That scene right there will literally grip at your heartstrings, and it'll probably bring tears to your eyes because you felt for this woman. She literally was about to do anything she could to get out of jail just to be with her kids. But after she got out of jail, that's when I think that was her wake up call, and she realized that she had to continue to fight that her husband did, because her husband, I think, ended up becoming defeated after being in that prison for all those years. Like, he was in that jail for what, 30 some odd years? So he was in there for a long time. Like, when he got out of jail, his kids were grown and had kids of their own. She wasn't in jail as long as he was. So she was still able to be in the children's life. But she was able to still continue to fight for the freedom of her people. Because that apartheid was something serious in South Africa. If you watched the movie Hotel Rwanda, it touches on that a lot. That's actually a huge focal point of the film. But to see this woman have a true warrior spirit that she had, unfortunately, not many women of today have that. Could you imagine if they did? I'm not saying that none of them would do what she did, but then again, a good 99.9% of them probably wouldn't. Because this woman risked a lot. Any day could have been her last day. And I'm sure she knew that, and I'm sure she was prepared to go. I'm very sure she didn't expect to live this long, 81 years. I'm sure there were times when her life was threatened, or there were times where people that was around her that she felt she could trust, probably she couldn't even trust. So I admire her for that, in that aspect. She deserves to be honored. Now, when I was looking through Twitter today, and I was looking up the hashtag of her name. Of course, you had the colonizer feeling some type of way, saying the stuff that she did and everything like that. And I said, you know what? It's a reason why they're saying that. I said she must have did something to them back during those times that rubbed them the wrong way. And I said this, well, it was during apartheid, so it was because of y'all of why she did what she did. She had to do what she had to do for the betterment of her people, and she also couldn't deal with any turncoats. It's almost like she was the second coming of Harriet Tubman. When Harriet Tubman was doing the Underground Railroad, she had to slaughter some of her own people to prevent them from going back and snitching to Massa, because then that would have ruined her entire mission. She wasn't doing it for herself. She was doing it for the people. Just like Winnie Mandela was doing it for the people. That's actually, I think, one of the things that contributed to the reason why her and Nelson Mandela got a divorce. Because she was going in a whole different direction than he was before he went, after he got out of jail. And they couldn't really agree to anything. So they decided to just get a divorce, but they remained friends. It's not like they went completely their separate ways and say, I hate her, and she says, I hate him. Because at the end of the day, it was because of him that it literally sparked her revolutionary spirit, but it was because of her that she kept it going. That thing would have probably fell and crumbled if she just stopped and probably went the way of her ex-husband. That's why a lot of people have respect for her. And for those who don't, oh well. But to the colonizer, who really cares how they feel? It's because of them that the whole apartheid thing happened. But see, when they say things like that and why she did what she did, lets you know that they wanted to keep that going. They love friction and drama and division when it comes to black people. They hate it. You should have saw them rejoicing on Twitter today saying she was gone. I was seeing a lot of people saying, ding dong, the witch is dead. That's why I say I feel nothing about a lot of things. It used to be just about the plague, but now it's gone beyond that. Way beyond that. But anyway, enough about them. I would just like to say, rest in power. I usually say rest in peace. I won't say rest in power. To the Queen, Winnie Mandela. You definitely served your purpose while you were here on Earth. You were definitely very, very appreciated. And I actually left a comment on Radical Home Sister. I left a comment on her page. I said I hadn't heard from her so long, I thought she actually was dead. So to find this out, and as a matter of fact, that's what I found about her death from first, was a Radical Home Sister. Now this woman right here is someone that little black girls and even grown black women need to research and look up to as a role. If you want to talk about role models, now this woman was a fighter, a true fighter. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments.